ArtBahrain, the journey began, I think, in 2009 when I first came to Bahrain. I'd been doing business in Dubai, and I have a model, or had a model, where I wanted to take art across boundaries. So Dubai, Oman, Bahrain was actually, it just happened by chance. When I landed here, it was like, you know, when you have no expectations and then what you receive. So something just, and whatever happened, I think it drew me so much that I moved business from Dubai to Bahrain. And the more I did, the more I exhibited, the more art events I did, I just felt that there was, I wouldn't call it a gap. It was more of a need to bridge. There were two. There is a buyer and there is a seller, and then there is this bridge in the middle, which is a vacuum. So, for me, I kept wondering on how to connect the two.
The challenge of
exactly connecting them on a level, which is without a motive. You see, what happens is sometimes the sellers must sell because that's what they do. The buyers. And sometimes maybe we don't think from a perspective of the buyer, because what does he actually want? What does he need? How much does he have? What more does he need? Sometimes that gap or that need may be just because he's not getting enough, or maybe he's getting too much of something. So I constantly felt the need for a connection, a platform. When I set my own company is called Art Select. And in a very novice way, I used to always say that we are an organization for the people, by the people. Now, the reason is not to sound communist or anything like that, but like I said, the buyers or the investors, if you will, we somehow lose perspective of that. We somehow begin our journey. Our journey is, I have a product which I need to sell. Art is unfortunately not a product. Like you very rightly said, culture came to Bahrain much before it came to anywhere in the Gulf. Bahrainis don't acquire culture, they have it in them. Every Bahraini, in his own way, whether this be a passion of his or not, has basic etiquette and culture. So culture, that angle is already taken care of. As far as the business is concerned, art has always been an investment. If you look back European history, if you look back history within India, Asia, the families have always invested in art and antiques. Today, it has taken a more dynamic turn with the onset of auction houses, with the onset of bankers recommending art as investments to their clients, and actually investing in it themselves. Now, this is something I wanted to establish here as well, because in my opinion, art is an asset class. Art is invaluable. In fact, contrary to whatever belief, I personally feel that art is actually an asset class which is incomparable to any other asset class. Yes, there is real estate, mashallah. Okay, you buy, but then it's far away from you, right? It's not adding anything to you. But when you're bringing a piece of art home, it's adding. It becomes a part of your life. There are collectors who have the most amazing collections who will not let go of them for anything. Now that is their wealth.
You could consider it as part of your portfolio, as in.
Absolutely. I mean, it's. In fact, I always encourage people that investing in art is the way forward, and that could be anything. Investing in your own art, investing in your own culture, investing in international art, wherever your interest takes you. According to me, every I don't know whether money is the right word to use. Every move made to purchase art should be as an investment, and really it's not subject to 500,000 dinars. Art investment could begin as something as small as 3,000, 4,000 dinars. That's how your portfolio grows. Like any other investment, there may be no need for you to realize it, but the fact that it can realize, that's the objective. see, our main objective when we set out with ArtBahrain was, as you see, our tagline is create, connect and inspire. So we basically wanted to create a platform that would connect buyers, sellers and artists together on a common platform, and then inspire them to take it further. There are no guiding forces here. Definitely our aim is being someone who has been taking Asian and Middle Eastern art all over the Gulf and to the UK. I used to be surprised to see the kind of reaction some of our local Bahraini artists have got. And the people would go up to them and say, come up to me and say that, oh, where is this artist from? Now that led to my second need, to make the people aware of what our artists here do. Mashallah, they produce some very, very work, not only incredible work, but contemporary, modern work. So their thought process needs to be communicated to the world outside. At the same time, the world outside must see inside. So we're trying to build bridges. We're trying to build associations. We're trying to let people of a common thought process actually intermingle with each other and develop their own ties. I have always believed trade of any nature is growth. When I use the term trade, I do not mean to diminish the value of culture. I think it is an add-on to culture, because the cycle of trade is extremely important for everybody involved. For that artist who is sitting in his studio and creating endlessly, putting in all his efforts and energy in that work of art, to see it go up, be appreciated, and then actually realize that sale to him is his achievement. Is the realization of his effort, and is the impetus for him to just keep moving, go that way forward. That's as far as the business is concerned. And I've always said, with the limited experience that I have, business of art, I understand. As far as education is concerned, I think the reason why we are all here is because a basic education is very, very important. Today, with the kind of knowledge we are exposed to, I for myself, I say, ArtBahrain has been the biggest learning process. I have learned every day. I have learned every minute. I have learned from my artists and how they have come together. I have learned from the galleries. We have today with ArtBahrain, we have 19 countries who are participating, 21 galleries. This is our first edition. So, I have learned from them how to have faith in a belief. There has been every step, when I see my consultants, when I go through the education program, every step of it has been a learning process. So I think, and if you string them all together, is when you have a complete picture. And which is why there is a significant part of ArtBahrain, in fact a whole area, if you look at my old floor plan, which has now got extended 10 times over. But yes, the speakers program, the education program, the workshops. In fact, as of day before yesterday, we've tied up with what they wanted. There were design students who want to be in assistance so that they can learn about the process. There was a student, mashallah, I forget her name. She was very clear. There was an artist that she liked, and she said, I want to assist him. And I kept telling her, okay, but I want you to be here. And then she finally met me after everybody left. She says, I'm inspired by his work and I feel I can learn a lot. I did not know how to refuse that to her. And it completely threw me off, because what I was looking at as just putting together a bunch of intelligent students to represent their country in a subject that makes sense to them, I actually saw this was passion. She absolutely, she had studied about him, she had read about him, and she said, this is the artist I want. And I said, okay, Khalas, whether he wants an assistant or he doesn't, you'll be with him. again, when you say art scene in Bahrain, I think a lot has been done already by the pioneers who govern the arts in Bahrain. A lot has been done to contribute to Bahrain's art and culture. So it is definitely not fair for me to add to it or take away from it. I see myself as a unit. I see ArtBahrain trying to supplement or trying to be alongside their effort with a thought process which will complement. As far as yes, I know where you're coming from, because a lot of people have this thing of, oh, Bahrain, are they buyers? Do people? Of course there are. I mean, there are people, like I said, there are beautiful homes. There are people who understand art. There are people who follow art. We are just, and when I say we, I talk about myself as being a part of Bahrain. We just don't scream out loud about what we do, and I think that is the grace about Bahrain. So yes, there is tremendous content. There is content in our thought process, there is content in what our artists do, and there is content in the people who support these artists. And there is massive content in our buyers, because one thing that I observed as a seller when I was is that buyers here buy because they want to buy. There are a lot of other markets that you spoke about, and I know this for a fact because I've been a seller. Person A buys because person B is bought. But here, it's completely different, and that's what inspired me initially to come here, because it was a challenge. People want to understand what they buy, and that in itself is your biggest strength. They understand they know what they want, they understand it, and they want to take it further. Like I said, ArtBahrain was a passionate dream which I carried, and I was lucky to have found someone like my partner on the project, Khalid Jaman, who shared my vision, if you will. And when we conceived it together, it was always meant to be an event that happens annually. Not only an event that happens within Bahrain, but on how we can we can build together with Bahrain, of course, a vehicle, if you will, to represent art in Bahrain in various facets of the world. And if that can be achieved, it will be the realization of the dream.